All right, let's go ahead and get started, friends. If you are joining me live right now, welcome. If you're watching the replay, hello. I'm so glad you're able to join me whenever you have the time to do so. Now, I've got an hour slotted for this, but it may take a little bit less time. It may take a little bit more time. I'll get the content done in the hour, but if we have questions, I can always stick around and answer more. And if we zoom right through it, no pun intended, being on Zoom, then you will just have more time to yourself and your self-care tonight. I hope everybody is doing well. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to pop them in the chat or to raise your hand and let me know. I am here for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see my lovely slides, except I think I left it on the last one. So I'm gonna real fast go through those so you don't have to watch me flipping through the slides and get back to the very beginning. And all right, here we go. Now, those of you who don't know me, I will introduce myself. I'm Colleen O'Connor, and I am a life coach who focuses on self-love for women and using self-love to get the life that you really want and the life you really deserve to have. And let me tell you, you deserve to have it. I know a lot of us struggle with the feelings of enoughness, of thinking that we're being greedy or that we should just be selfless instead of selfish. And I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. Kindly, you're wrong. You deserve the life that you want. So tonight we're going to do Renew 2022. We're going to look back at different parts of our life from 2021, see what we want to keep, see what we want to get rid of, and where we're going in the future. So first, again, hello, I'm Colleen. I'm the founder of Colleen O'Connor Coaching. I'm also an attorney. I no longer practice, but I do have those skills and that brain still. I'm a voracious reader. I'm an obsessive reader. I love to read. So any and all book recommendations, welcome. I have a stack, I guess you can't see them right behind me, of books to be read. And I've always got ebooks going on my phone because thank goodness, I was not a huge ebook fan, but thank goodness for ebooks and the library during the pandemic so that I could have a steady stream of books to feed my habit. I'm a former competitive ballroom dancer. Fun fact about me. I love glitter. I don't know if you can tell the glitter. And I love to dance. So it was perfect fit. It had been a dream of mine since I was really a toddler. And in my 20s, I took the leap and started taking lessons, and the teacher recommended I try competitions. And so we did that, and it was so much fun and so fabulous. And I miss it tons. My last competition was in 2014. I injured my feet that same year while dancing in heels and training for a marathon at the same time. And so I didn't get back into it, and we'll see, maybe someday. I would love to. But the reason you're here, I'm a Martha Beck trained life coach, and I am obsessed also with helping women create their best lives. So that is me. These are some of my joys. The stack of books there, the ballroom dancing down there, yarn. I'm a big knitter. I love to knit. And I got married this year, so that's my husband, Jeremy. And we're at the Coliseum in one of those, and then obviously I'm in my wedding dress and the others. And oh my goodness, has that been so interesting? Because if you've known me for a while, you know that I also had been single for 15 years, and I used to focus primarily on coaching single women because of that, because I so greatly understand the feeling of being left behind because you haven't been chosen, because you don't have a partner, because you're not celebrating weddings or pregnancies or, all the traditional things that people seem to really focus on when we're celebrating. And so it is wonderful and I love him and I'm so happy to have found and created this relationship. But it's also been very strange to kind of have a whole new identity now. Why am I a coach? So I want to speed through this because I get a little long-winded. But the best way for me to share with you why I'm a coach is a little story parable that I first heard on The West Wing. And I really need to look up and see if it's something that Aaron Sorkin wrote or if it's actually an older parable. And so if you are familiar with The West Wing, there are the characters Josh and Leo. Josh is suffering from PTSD, and Leo, the older chief of staff, Josh's boss, gets him some help. He brings in a therapist. And at the end of the day, in this very emotionally wrenching episode, which is wonderful, Josh meets Leo in the hallway of the White House and says, why are you going to all this trouble for me? And Leo tells him a story. And he says, there's this guy and he's down in a hole and he can't get out. This big deep hole, can't figure out how to get out of there. Priest walks by and he's like, hey, Father, can you help me get out of this hole? Priest writes out a prayer, throws in the hole, keeps going. Another, I'm now totally blanking on the next person who comes through, but someone else comes and gives him words of hope or wisdom, but no practical help, and then leaves. And then a friend walks by. He says, hey, friend, I'm down here in this hole. Can you help me? And the friend jumps down into the hole. And the guy's like, what are you doing now? We're both stuck here in this hole. The friend goes, yeah, but I've been here and I know the way out. So that's why I'm a coach, because I've been there. I've been here. I've been all kinds of wheres. And I know the way out. And spoiler alert, most of the time, the way out is self-love. And so that's a lot of what I focus on. And that's why I'm a coach, because I know the feeling of being in the hole, of shaming yourself, of mean girling yourself, of shoulding all over yourself. Like the negative thoughts that you've thought, I have probably thought them too. And I probably still think them sometimes. But I know the way out of that. And I know how to help you feel better and get the things that you want and create this really cool life without having those negative thoughts. So that's my way out. And that's what I want to share with you. In today's class, we're going to focus on 8 areas of your life from, just looking back the last 11 and a half months and decide what we want to keep and what we want to release. And if you didn't know, the solstice is coming up on the 21st, and that is a fantastic time to do a little releasing ritual. I'll talk a little bit more about that later if you want. We're going to decide on goals for 2022 and how to use this past experience you have to guide the goals that you're choosing and the plans that you create. We're talking about my favorite way to plan in order to achieve these goals, and you can get coached. Ask questions. I'm here. Raise your hand. I'd love to answer questions if you've got them. So think about why you're here today. What was it that brought you? What are you craving? What are you hoping? Is it a big sigh of release that you're looking for? Is it getting amped up for 2022? Do you need a little help clarifying exactly what you want and where you're stuck on getting those things or taking action? I'd love for you to share that with me. This is a great journaling exercise. Like, what was it that drew you to this class? Okay, so I want to go ahead and get grounded. So I've been a little bit up in the energy, but I want us to come just like be very mellow. So if you want to close your eyes, let's take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Repeat that on your pace a couple more times. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. With your eyes still closed, really think about where your body is, feel where it meets the chair, the floor, the sofa that you're sitting in. Are you cuddled up in bed watching this? Feel where your body makes contact and really, really get connected with that and feel grounded. Because we're going to go through these 8 areas of our life, and it can get a little bit emotional, but we're going to stay in touch with where our feet are quite literally on the ground or our butts are on the chair, whatever it is that's connecting us to that strong, supportive earth. Go ahead and open your eyes, and we're going to open your workbook. And I do not have my workbook up, so let me pull that up right now. And here we go. So we've got the beginning, the cover, that's my website, ColleenO'Connor.net, if you ever need more information about me. A little love note from me to you. Really, let's talk about trusting your instincts here. Don't obsess about the answers if you can. Write the first thing that comes to your mind. You can remove your distractions, get your candle lit. I've got my sparkling water. I'm a koozie girl. Put on some fuzzy socks or your comfy pants. Let's get ready. So first, I'd love for you to think about where you're at right now. What is life like for you right now? What comes to mind? What is the feeling you get in your body? Is there an image that comes to your mind? Is there a phrase or a word? And this can be positive or negative. It's whatever comes up for you. And this is one where I really want you to go with the instinct, like the first thing that comes in. And write that down. And then, are you satisfied with what came up? And why or why not? What is it? You know, if the word that came up was shit show, I'm guessing you're not satisfied. So what is it that's making you feel that way? If you had this lovely, peaceful image of a beach, an empty beach in Hawaii, and it's just you and everything's calm and wonderful, is that what you're wanting? Or do you want a crowd around you? Are you looking for partnership or extra friendship? Like, even if something's positive, you don't have to be satisfied. You get to have more. So take a little moment and think about that. Then we're going to go through some key areas of your life. And some of these categories might not feel relevant to you, and that's okay. Skip them. If there's something that is really important to you that I haven't included, that's okay too. Add it in. This is all about you. Sorry, I remember I was a little, there we go, slipping down my shoulders. So just make this about you and what you want. This is a private space. You don't have to share it with me. You don't have to share it with anyone if you don't want to. So be as honest with yourself as you can and really, you know, make it what you want it. And so I want you to go through. I'm going to give you a little, like about a minute for each one. And I want you to go through and think, okay, out of 10, how would I rate my health, body, fitness? Like, you know, and sometimes there's more than 2 words. And so if you want to separate them out, you can. Maybe you're in great shape, but you're going through another kind of health crisis. That's okay. Rate those separately if you want to. And so I want you to rate each one and then think about what's going to make it a 10. What would make this a 10 out of 10 for me? So let's go ahead and start with health, body, and fitness. Take just a minute to go through that. What would I rate this category out of 10? 10 being the best. And then once I have a rating, what would make it a 10 out of 10? Then we can go on to your career or your business, whatever your work life looks like. Go ahead and rate that out of a 10 scale, and then decide what would make it the max of 10. All right. Now the next one is relationship or lack thereof, dating, and sex life. And again, you can rate these separately if they have separate ratings for you. And then for this category or for each one, what would make it a 10 out of 10? And I want to remind you that at this point, you don't need to know how you're going to get to the 10, but what is the thing that comes to mind when you think, what do I crave most in this category? Is it a steady romantic partnership? Is it more partners? Is it a different, trying some new things in your sex life? Is it dating that feels easy and actually feels fun for a change? Whatever it is, put that down. You don't need to know how you're going to make it happen. And if I'm going too fast at any point, please let me know. I want to make this what you need. Let's skip down to hobbies and fun. I know this lacks for a lot of women because we become caretakers and we put ourselves aside and then we forget to have fun. We forget what our hobbies are. I've had clients where I ask them what they want to do for fun and they don't know because it's been so long. So it's okay if your rating is low. It's fabulous if your rating is high. And if you don't know, then maybe what you want in order to make it a 10 is to figure out what your hobbies are, what your most fun activities are. And when you're ready, you can skip down to home or your geographic location. So this can be the physical space you live in. This can be the geographical space you live in. Whatever it is about where you call home, whether it's where you live or not, maybe where you live isn't where you call home and it is just your location. So what would make it a 10 out of 10 for you? when, as an example, I live in San Diego, which is wonderful. Jeremy and I are both close to our parents this way, and my siblings are all here. And it's been really great to be back. But we're in an inland San Diego, and it gets a little hot for me and for my MS. My symptoms tend to flare up extra when I am hot. It has been cold the last few days, and it's been so great. So for me, it's a pretty high rating for our home, but I would love to be closer to the coast so that the temperature is regularly cooler than it is where we are currently. So it doesn't have to be a massive change. Maybe it's just something, a little tweak that's going to get you there. Okay, and when you're ready, let's move on down to money. Money, money, money. How satisfied are you with your financial situation? Do you like the amount of money you're making? What about the money you have in savings or you're investing or you have in a retirement fund? Do you and your partner share the same beliefs about money, or does that create conflict? Whatever it is that you are feeling, this is the place to put it. Go ahead and give money a rating for your life. All right, now let's move on to spiritual life. Now, this can be your religion, your relationship with God, or your church. It can be meditation. It can be other spiritual rituals or your connection to the universe and to the earth. Whatever spiritual life is for you, go ahead and give it a rating out of 10. Maybe you want to make this a bigger priority, or maybe some of it's taken over a little bit. Whatever it is, give it a rating, and then think about what would make it a 10 out of 10 for you. No judgment, no shoulds here, just whatever it is for you. Then we'll head down to our last category for this part of the workbook. And that's personal development. So what is your rating for your personal development, for your growth, for your focus on yourself? What are you allowing yourself to do, and what does it have a place right now? Does it have a rating? Is it something that you want to do more of? Go ahead and give that a rating. And this can be interpreted any way you want to. Maybe your personal development is taking courses. Fabulous. Maybe it's reading books. That's also great. Or getting a coach. Or, that's one of my favorites. And I also read tons of personal development books. Whatever it is for you, go ahead and rate it, and then think about what would make that a 10 out of 10 for you. And while you finish that up, I'm going to switch back to our slides. If you have any questions, go ahead and pop those into the chat or raise your hand. All right. We're going to go back to the workbook, actually. We're going to talk about goals. So first, let's take a big, deep, releasing breath in through the nose. And then sigh it out through the mouth. Shake it out a little bit. Get rid of it, whatever it was. And then take a minute, just fast as you can, write down, what would you like to leave behind in 2021? Now that you've done some reflecting on some key areas of your life, what do you want to let go? What do you want to leave behind? Maybe this is something you'll do a releasing ritual for. Go ahead and write that down. I'll give you about a minute. And so for this, one of the things that I love to do is a releasing ritual around what you would like to leave behind. You can do this tonight, tomorrow, you can do it on the solstice, which is what I plan to do. I'm going to have Jeremy do it with me for the first time. He's not super into the personal development and woo space, but I'm getting him there. So what I like to do is burn it. That's my favorite. So I write down everything that I want to let go. And I usually put it in a cast iron Dutch oven and light it on fire. It's California, we gotta be fire safe, right? Should be fire safe anywhere. But, toss in your fireplace and a campfire into your grill, light some wish paper on fire and watch it evaporate. Whatever you choose to do. Some people like to just tear it up into little bitty pieces. Some people write it on rocks with a Sharpie and throw it into the ocean or another big body of water. There are many releasing rituals. You can Google some, you can reach out to me. If you need some help finding one that resonates, just let me know. But that's a really fun and meaningful, powerful way to leave something behind. Now that we've left some things behind, what is it that you want to continue taking with you? What is it you're going to renew your checkout on? Just like renewing a library book. What are you going to keep taking with you into 2022? I'll give you about a minute to write that down. All right, now that you've thought about that, I'll tell you about this, but we're gonna go right through it. Choosing a word or a phrase to guide your year can be really powerful and really fun. In past years, I've used the word shine. I've used the word or the phrase radiant becoming. I've used the phrase magic shark. That is my code for being the Colleenest Colleen I can be. It's how I feel when I am most me, is magic shark. So, oh, typo. I mean, there's still some 2021 left, but how would you like to feel in 2022? Think about a feeling, a word, image, phrase you want to encompass. Think about everything you wrote down from this workbook and just brainstorm and come up with a word that really encompasses that and you can go to and have that be a touchstone for your year. A really great resource that I actually just found out about yesterday is wordhippo.com. And it's really fun because you just type in words and it gives you all kinds of additional suggestions. So for example, if the word sovereign really appeals to you, but it's not quite what you're looking for, then there's going to be suggestions like independent and ruling and queen. And so you can choose from more words if you think you're on the right track, but it's not quite there yet. That's a really fun resource. Then I've got more explanation here. This is the worksheet that I've just popped into the workbook this year. And you can answer these questions. And I've got some words there to get you started. There's a little where you can come hang out with me on the internet, Facebook and Instagram. And so that's a really fun activity I encourage you to do post this workshop. And now we're going to get just a little bit more specific about goals. So we talked about what you want to let go, what you want to hang on to for 2022. And so what is it that you want over the next 12 months? You know what you want to keep, but now what is it that you want to add? Are you setting goals? Do you have dreams that are written down? Take a minute here, think about it, write it all down. Getting it out on paper really is powerful. I've been saying the word powerful a lot, but it's true. These things will make a difference. It's kind of like admitting that you have a problem is the first step to fixing the problem. Admitting you have a goal, admitting you have a dream is the first step to getting that dream, to achieving that goal. Think about what you want over the next 12 months. What would feel really great to do and to look back next December? Like, let's say we're together again next December, reviewing 2022 and planning for 23. What is it that you want to have done? And now some people already know that, some people are still thinking. So there's a couple of different prompts here for you. So go ahead through your workbook and do that. One of the questions that I find really helpful to ask when I'm overwhelmed with options is, what's the one thing that if I changed it, if you changed this one thing about your life, would make the most difference to you? What's that one thing? Put that in your workbook, in your journal that you're using. I'm doing mine in a little journal beside. I hope it's not too shaky for you when I write. If it is, please tell me. So I'll go ahead and give you a couple minutes to go through those questions. And again, if these questions are something that really stump you, much like the what do I want to do for fun, you don't have to decide your grand purpose. These can be changed. They are, malleable, they're flexible. And maybe it's a feeling that you want to have. Maybe you want more peace. Maybe you want more adventure. That's okay. It doesn't have to be super specific at this point. If you're still dreaming and scheming, do it, my friend. This is all about you and getting you what you want. So adapt the questions, adapt the assignment as works best for you. A little bit chilly. There's no pressure to get this finished while we're on the call together. You can take your time. You can come back to these questions. You know, our end of the years, our beginning of the years are wonderful times to take a step back and take a look at things and set some goals, but they're arbitrary. You can just as well change your goals in the middle of June as you can in December going into January, whenever works for you. So don't feel like you're stuck with something just because on December 15th, that's what you wrote down. So these next couple of questions will also lead you through the goal setting process. And I'm going to go through these quickly, write down if you have things that pop up into your mind, but otherwise go ahead and go back to these after the call. I want to make sure I get to all the content, see everything you need from me before our time runs out. So what dreams have you listed that align with the way you decided you want to feel? So you thought about what the feeling was that you wanted. And so what are those goals or dreams that will help you feel that way? When you're setting goals, really think about the support system you have in place. Who do you need to be on your team? Who do you need to tell? Is it your partner? Do you have kids that need to be involved? Is it, is your best friend going to be your cheerleader? Do you need a coach? Do you need a teacher? Who is it that you need on your team? And then when you're thinking about these things, are you hearing thoughts? What's coming up for you? Are you having like really excited thoughts like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go on this trip to Bali and do all of the things? Or are they negatives? Like, oh, you'll never be able to start your own business, or you'll never be able to be an astronaut. If they're negative, can you think about how they're untrue? Or can you even just make them neutral? Be like, you know what? I'm going to try to be an astronaut. I'm going to see if I can do it. And that's the goal, the trying, the journey, right? So in this space, go ahead and choose a goal or two, or maybe three to focus on. You really want to be able to focus your time and your energy, because I know that we're all spread really thin. So use this space to brainstorm the things that need to happen for you to get to the goal. And you don't need to know all of them. These are just what comes to mind when you're working on it. But this is a step I really wanted to get to. So once you know your goals, we're going to get you to your goals a turtle step at a time. And turtle steps are my favorite, something I learned from Martha Beck. And basically, it is the smallest little bitty step that you can take. So if you have a step like, have a website for my baking business, that's too big. Not a turtle step. A turtle step would be brainstorming domain names. Choose a domain name. See if the domain name is available. So break it into little bitty steps. And the point of this is so that everything is doable. And so on the days that you feel like shit, because your period started early and you got cramps and you don't want to do anything, or you've had an extra busy day at work, or you're just feeling discouraged, you can still take a tiny step and you will still have made progress that day. And yes, there will be days where you make no progress. That is okay too, because you deserve to rest and to take care of yourself. But on the days when we're feeling crappy, but we wish we could be doing something, that's when turtle steps are the most useful, because it allows you to fulfill that desire to do something. It allows you to keep making progress even when times are tough. And often you feel better because you took that action, and it leads to taking another action, and you make more progress than you expected. Before you know it, the turtle has crossed the finish line. You are at your goal, and everyone is happy for you. That's the ideal, right? Some people will be jealous and they'll be grumpy, but that's okay. So once you know your goal, you're going to break it down into the tiny turtle steps. You can do this all at once if you want to, or you can go, okay, what is the next step I need to take? Break that step down into turtle steps, do those, and then do it again with the next step and the next step and the next step. So it is up to you how you want to do it. And remember that these are your goals. This is your plan, your turtle steps. So things can change. If it needs to be adapted, adapt it. Totally fine. And then something really important that I want to talk about is this. It's my why. So for each of the goals that you have decided to go after for 2022, the goals that you are going to achieve through self-love and encouraging yourself and just really being excited about the life you're creating, I want you to also write down why you want that goal. And it doesn't matter what the why is to me or to anyone else. This is about you. What is the reason that is going to keep you going, that will help you take that turtle step on the really hard days? What is the why? Why are you doing it? Why do you want this so much? And write that down. And again, like, it doesn't have to be right this second. You can think about it. You can play with it. You can wordsmith it so that it's exactly what you're hoping to put down. But it is important to sit down and think about why you want a particular goal. Excuse me. Because that keeps you encouraged and solidifies it in your brain ahead of time. And then it keeps you going and you can come back to it. It's a really nice touchstone. It's kind of like your word of the year. This is why I'm going for this, because it'll allow me to have the freedom to work the hours I want to work, or it will allow me to show my partner, my kids, or my parents this really amazing place that I've always wanted to take them. It will allow me to feel better about myself. What is your why? It can be anything in the world. It can be, it's going to be really fucking fun. That is a totally cool why, totally acceptable. Whatever your why is, it's okay. Just make sure there is one. Then you'll do all your turtle steps, and then yoo-hoo! You're ahead of the game, 2 weeks ahead. There's no game, there's no ahead, right? Even though that's the metaphor I used. You can still change things, but you're gonna be so on the way to making your dreams come true. And now I'm gonna go back to the slides. We're gonna talk about how I can help. How I can help, whoopsie, going to the wrong place. How I can help you through coaching create your dream life and your dream self, right? Because it's so much about loving yourself, and that's going to get you everywhere. This is Lisa, a former client of mine and now a dear friend. And the things that she said after we worked together to coach, she was in a really tough place. And she said she had felt like she had wandered very far away from herself and needed help finding the path back to me. And by the time she finished working with me, she says, I felt like I was alive and free again in ways I hadn't felt in years. She helped me see how fully I could love myself. And I got the courage to restart living my life on my own terms, which included traveling to Bali for a 2-month solo adventure. So that is one testimonial from one client, one example of what is possible for you through coaching. Good things are coming, baby. Pointing to it. So work with me one-on-one, and we're going to discover the magic side of you, the side of you that comes out when you are wildly in love with yourself. And the thing that happens then is that the life you are wildly in love with comes into being. So what you'll do in coaching, you'll figure out what you really want and what your dream life looks like, even if you stopped dreaming a long time ago. This is really critical for those of you who are like, I don't know what I like to do for fun. I don't know what my goals are. I've spent so much time prioritizing other people. I don't know what I want. I can help you figure that out. It's in there. You just have to tap in deeper into yourself, get more connected with that inner voice, and you will figure it out. And along the way, you are going to realize how worthy you are and how much you deserve your best life. Oh my gosh, do you deserve it? And oh my gosh, do I understand the pain of feeling like you don't? You'll build an unshakable sense of self-worth and a mindset practice. So when things are hard, you know it's just a phase. You're gonna get through it. You'll stop blaming yourself and calling yourself names when things go wrong. And we'll create a really cool plan. I love plans. That's going to keep you out of overwhelm. You're going to keep making progress. I will hold you accountable in the way that works for you. And you are going to get to those dreams. So the more nitty-gritty logistic stuff that we do, 6 months to work with me one-on-one. You get 3 one-hour calls a month. And the 4th week, I give you a personalized challenge. So if you've been around my world a little bit, you know how much I love my free challenges. One is coming up soon. Just a hint. And so I will personally make a challenge assignment for you to go out and do. We will make sure that it's, time appropriate, and it's a bit of a stretch for you, but it's not, the hardest thing I could ask for you to do. We're going to implement whatever we've been working on that month. Voxer is kind of a walkie-talkie app, but it's great for texting. You can text, you can send voice messages, you can send pictures. And so you'll have access to me during business hours through Voxer for some quick coaching and any quick questions. There's always pre-work before we get on our first call so that we can hit the ground running, so that I don't waste your time explaining how coaching works, and I don't have to get to know you. You don't have to get to know me. It's already been done in this lovely package that I put together for you. And along the way, there'll be homework, there'll be resources, there'll be worksheets. Maybe the word of the year worksheet is something I have given clients when they're working on something like that. Could be anything, meditation assignments, workout assignments. It's totally dependent on the client and what they're going for. And if you book your consult call today, when you enroll in coaching, you will get a bonus self-love gift box that I have curated, that I put together. It is so much fun to put together all these presents for you, so that your journey gets off to a really good start, and that you learn to start treating yourself with so much love and compassion right from the get-go. Let's go ahead and book your consult call. This is another client of mine. I don't know if you can see my little face there, so we'll move it. But she started working with me back when I was focused on single women. And so she was really wanting to build a really great life, even though she was single. And she started dating the man of her dreams, as she says. Colleen talked me off the ledge several times and worked with me to accept that I not only deserve to be happy in a healthy relationship, but that it was okay to have feelings of sadness at relinquishing my singlehood. I've never been happier, and it's thanks to Colleen's supportive coaching and occasional tough love. And that gets me all choked up every time. And she got married in 2020 and just actually had her second wedding so that she could have friends and family present for this one. So it was just she had a really wonderful journey. And it's like, sometimes you start with one goal and it morphs into something else, and that's okay. As long as it's what you want, so good. So if you have any questions, go ahead and hit me up. It's another quick testimonial. What I like most is when you work with Colleen, you don't feel like you are working with someone who has the perfect life and has always had the perfect life. She tells you that she has struggled with some of the same things in the past or worked through the same issues. You know she truly relates to you and has been there before. That's what I was talking about with my little down in the hole story. I've been there before. I get it. I understand. I can be really empathetic. And I know the way out. These are all the ways that you can get in touch with me. You can either fill out the link down there. I'm gonna put in, let me see if I can, you know what, I'm gonna try and pull up just like, lost my train of thought. Here we go. This is my scheduler. If you want to just schedule a consultation call with me, this is the link. And so this is the thing, that if you book this when you enroll in coaching, you will receive the extra self-love gift. So the consultation call, we're going to chat about all these things that you put in your workbook. You're going to be ahead. You know, it'll be a lot easier to have the chat when you have the workbook done, and we'll get off to a running start. And so I'll give you some ideas on how to get started on those dreams, what can make it a little bit easier for you. We'll talk about working together and see if it's a good fit. As I said, it's kind of like chatting with your big sister who only wants you to be happy, but is sometimes a bit of a hard ass. So maybe I should get a testimonial from my little sister about, yes, my big sister loves me and wants the best, but can be a bit of a hard ass. I'm not going to let you get away with being unkind to yourself. So thebravecouncil.as.me/chat is where you go. I'm going to stop my screen share. And I'm back, and it looks like perfect timing. So if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to me, Colleen@ColleenO'Connor.net. That's always me answering the email. You can message me on Facebook or DM me through Instagram. I am here for you for whatever you need. And I cannot wait to see the life that you build for 2022. All right, my friends, it's been so good to be here with you. Have a really great night.